Tom had done the solo record with Jeff that was very successful.
Yeah.
So he said, why don't we try it with the band? And Jeff, I think sort of almost at gunpoint said, well, it's not really my thing to do bands, but I'll do this. And we all had to learn that process. And it was awkward for us because we were a band and we were used to doing it our way. But Jeff, um, at the time, it was once again, it was like educational. So it was brutal. I didn't always appreciate the ass whipping I was getting. I didn't realize I was learning things from Jeff Lynne, being in a room with Jeff Lynne until years later I went, oh, oh, that works because I saw it work. I saw Jeff Lynne do that. I know that this is a valid way to approach this. And you learn, even at the time when it can be painful, you're learning, because as you well know, you pay for your education one way or another. You
One,
know,
yes.
it's
Yeah.
like you pay for it either in dollars or in brain cells or in ego or, your education doesn't come cheap, and a
No,
good education comes at a price.
it doesn't. But being in the studios with cats like that, I mean, Jeff Lynne, I mean, ELO, when you go back to the ELO stuff, but even the move for people who don't know, like fantastic, albums and just great. I mean, he was so Jeff Lynne as a songwriter, producer, fantastic, fantastic.
But
What Jeff? I mean, you got to hang with him and work with Lynn, correct? With Jeff?
I wouldn't say we got to hang, but at the time, Tom had done the solo record with Jeff that was very successful.
Yeah.
So he said, why don't we try it with the band? And Jeff, I think sort of almost at gunpoint said, well, it's not really my thing to do bands, but I'll do this. And we all had to learn that process. And it was awkward for us because we were a band and we were used to doing it our way. But Jeff, um, at the time, it was once again, it was like educational. So it was brutal. I didn't always appreciate the ass whipping I was getting, but it was later in life I realized
Yeah.
invaluable, you know.
That was around the time, right, when you split too, right? Afterwards? Is it when you guys
I think I met him. I don't remember. I don't know the dates. Was that the last record? I don't know. Maybe that
trust me,
might.
somebody watching in the comments knows more dates better than you and I know right here. I get yelled at all the time. You said the wrong name or this and that.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, it was around that time. I think I know I did a couple more tours, and I can't remember what happened, but it was around that time. It was like a rift was occurring with me musically that I couldn't be the drummer they were looking for. I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
It just wasn't in me. It would be now I could understand, but at the time it was like, hey, I got other things to do. And plus I was being offered other jobs that were a little more entertaining and more inspiring for me, you know.
That's the key word. When you're not feeling inspired, you just like at that moment, you're just like, look, this is not the right place for me to be at that time.
Well, I never had a job, I've never thought of it as work. It's always just been my joy, to get
Creative,
music
an
with,
artist.
yeah, I get to make music with cool cats. And when it got to be, it felt like a job that I wasn't really cut out for. It's like, as my dad always used to say, he goes, the only thing wrong with this picture, Stan, is you're in it. It's like everybody else belongs in this picture, but you. And it's like, that's when that's actually true, it's brutal. And that's part of that song Speaker War song, It Ain't Easy.
It ain't easy losing half your friends.
You know, like letting go and holding on. And, it's like it ain't easy, when you knowing that you've had enough. It's like there's a lot of truth in that lyric to me. Like it tells a story about like, hey man, when it's time to step aside, you should probably leave 5 minutes early than 5 minutes late. It's more graceful to get out while you're still smiling. It's
So
always
that so that song, It Ain't Easy, there's a part of the story in that song that's a part of your time around that time separation with the Heartbreakers,
Oh, a
which is
lot, everything I wrote about on this record with the Speaker Wars probably ties directly to relationships that are being severed, that were severed. And the biggest severance, for lack of a, wrong term used in this day and age, but the 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 most painful separations were happening for me with the band and with Tom and with management and with the crew and all these people I grew up with that I loved so deeply. And pulling away from them created so much turmoil that that's probably a lot of that record lyrically for me. Ty was inspired by all of that upheaval, like still, I was still processing it, 20 years later, I'm still processing what happened, what did I do, where did it go, and so a great deal of it. And there's a
agree.
song on the record called Forgiveness Tree, which is, I hope you get to hear it in a week or so, where it talks directly to like how you mend fences when it's over,
Is there a song on that record to Tom, like a message or something you're singing to him or
Oh yeah, of course. It's all, maybe it's not specifically, but he's there. Tom, Tom's in my dreams. Tom's in every shot of whiskey I drink. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
He's in every joint I smoke. He's in every sunrise, and sunset. He's there because it's like it's brought to you by that relationship and by his kindness and his genius and his anxiety and his all of his complexities are all part of us. We all experienced something very intense together. It's like, so you don't, it's always there. But yeah, I think any lyric that deals with separation and or frustration or anger or joy or love is all going to come. He's a very, very important relationship in my life. I'm not afraid to
Absolutely.
admit it. He's
Absolutely.
all,
When you
all those cats are. All those cats are. Even the guys in the crew, they're important to me. They were big, big league players in my life.
when Stan, when you and the Heartbreakers separated, okay, you went your way, they went their way. Did you speak to anybody during that in between, like Tom, Mike, anybody Mike, anybody Bema? No, nobody.
No, it was a complete fracture. It was the cleanest bone break I've ever seen. And they needed to move on. They got another drummer and they got another life and they went forward. And I needed a clean break. And I needed to become a writer and producer. I needed to quit being the drummer in Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. I needed to get my own last name back, and go
Yeah.
work. And but I think Ben and I were the closest, uh, and we were the closest in age, and he stayed in touch with me. But you could feel there was an awkwardness in all of it.
Yeah.
It's a divorce. You don't really want to hang with your ex.
No, well put, man. I guess at that point, right then you understood. Well, now I understand the divorce of the Beatles and what they all went
Oh,
through.
completely. Well, there's two words that make any sense to anybody that's ever been in a band, you included. Band shit. It's like all you got to say is to any cat who's worth their salt, who's been in a band, and they go like, hey, I hear you guys are going through some shit. It's like, band shit. And if anybody's worth a damn, they'll go, got it. Don't even need specifics, brother. Don't even need specifics. Everybody we've mentioned today, whether it was like you were talking about Clem, band shit, I guarantee
Oh
you,
yeah.
he's smiling down on us going like, yes, sir, got it. And hey, Roger McGuinn, band shit. You know what I mean? John Sebastian, band, it's there. It's whether it was, you can see that I can smile about it now. There
Yeah.
was a time when I would say band shit and I would literally feel my heart drop, because you go like, oh, band shit. Now it's like band shit. It's like, but time, it helped. But anybody who's been in a partnership with 5 guys, 6 guys, add the managers, add the crew. You're really in a partnership with 20 different guys, really. And then add their wives and add their kids. It's like you're in this multifaceted, bizarre family of personalities. And sometimes you don't even know who you're talking to. It's like you go like, hey man, how's it going? And you're like, what the hell? I didn't see that one coming. It's like, but it's a glorious thing when it works. So it's worth it.
It's funny. The wives are a whole nother band.
Hey,
There's always there's a Yoko in every band, but I don't want to. People think that the wrong way. It's just an expression,
Oh,
I
but
remember
you
as
know
a,
what? In defense of the Yokos of the world, they're defending their men.
that's right.
And it's like, look, I have a Yoko now. And it's like, and I know it's so occasionally, but I laugh at it. I go like, are you Yoko on this one? And she goes, I'm doing it because I love you and I defend you. I can't let you get danced on. You know what I mean? So it's like, bring on Yoko. It's like, I totally get it. It's like, but you understand.
If you want to catch this episode now unedited, become a member, join the club right here on YouTube. In the meantime, check out the Speaker Wars. Links are in the description down below. You can order their new music now. Now click here for our next episode, subscribe, and don't forget to leave us a comment down below. Who loves you, baby? We do.